wetting an occupational hazard. Sticks and stones. I'm sorry you don't like our policies, but that doesn't mean you have to be an asshole about it. The petite woman's pink lips turned down at the sides as her green eyes bore holes into the tall man standing on the other side of the counter. Her eyebrows drew in tight under her ponytailed blonde hair that stopped just below her shoulder blades. And now I'm going to need to see your manager. The man paused to read the oval name tag on her red shirt. Christina. He smirked, still clutching his slightly battered black wallet. He stood about half a foot taller than Christina, which she figured placed him at just over 6 feet. His long-sleeved green fleece, topping off a pair of flat-front tan khakis, made him look vaguely like one of the generic models in the clothing ads that pack the Sunday papers at this time of year. His slightly shaggy, sandy brown hair and matching brown eyes didn't hurt that perception. In fact, if not for his copper-stained teeth, she thought she may have recognized him from that week's Kohl's insert. But instead of flipping past him on her way to 20% off Mrs. Fashions, she was summoning her manager for him. The line of customers stretched away the impulse candy and bookmarks, past the gift card racks and into new hardbacks, stopping just short of the employees' picks. Christina glanced left toward her fellow red shirt and caught a brief eye roll. It was bad enough that their 2 seasonal co-workers had called out that afternoon, but that was to be expected during finals week. College kids, Christina knew from experience, had no sense of responsibility, especially when it came to a job they generally took for 6 weeks to earn extra money for gifts and then quit by just not showing up anymore. She briefly chided herself for generalizing, but at the same time could not think of a single college student, except herself, who had bucked that trend as long as she had worked there. Thank God she had been mature enough to give her notice, in writing no less, when she quit the week before Christmas her senior year. Her supervisor at that time remembered that when she came in to reapply for the position 9 months later. The girls who had called out today would learn their poor business etiquette wasn't going to do them any favors when they graduated in 5 months, or a year and a half or however long it would take, and found out there was no such thing as a job with a starting salary of $60,000 a year working 2 days a week. Indeed, in many fields, there weren't any jobs, period. And so they would end up putting their newly minted bachelor's degrees to work at bookstores. Or perfume counters. Or sunny little bistros that paid $2.15 an hour plus tips. Still, their eventual lesson would do nothing to change the fact that only one person was left to wait on a line of about 24 people during the Christmas rush while Christina waited in limbo. "Hi, I'm Gary. Is there something I can help you with?" The words "shift manager" appeared below his first name on his oval badge, which caught a glint from the overhead fluorescent lighting as he reached out to shake the man's hand. "Gary, I'm Thomas, and I hate to complain, especially 3 days before Christmas, but I'm afraid your employee was very rude to me." "Thomas, I'm sure we can take care of whatever you need. Christina is usually a very trustworthy employee, and I'm sure we can work this out. Now, what can we do for you?" "Well, I'm trying to purchase a $15 gift card, and Christina here tells me they only come in increments of 5 and 10. I told her she was in luck because 15 was an increment of both, and she got very snippy." Christina looked at Gary. She knew she would have a turn to tell her side of the story later. "Well, Thomas, I do apologize for Christina's behavior today. It's true that we don't have $15 gift cards, but we do have 5 and $10 cards. Would one of each work? I don't care if you have to give me 15 $1 gift cards, as long as I walk out of here today with $15 worth of cards that I can take home and wrap for my office's Secret Santa gift exchange." "No problem. Christina, can you please ring these up for Thomas?" Gary said, pulling 2 prepackaged gift cards from a shelf beneath the counter. "Now, Thomas, is there anything else we can do for you today?" "Oh, no thank you, you've done enough," Thomas said, flashing his coffee smile. "And I'm really not trying to get anyone in trouble. Everyone gets a little stressed out at this time of year, and I'm sure Christina is normally a very good employee." Thank you for shopping with us, and please come again, Christina said, handing him a green bag that dwarfed the gift cards and smiling a week, because I have to smile. A winter chill. He just wasn't in a good mood, Christina said, sitting in a blue-cushioned chair with wooden handles in front of the desk in the manager's office. Gary hadn't even bothered to put out his nameplate, instead leaving it stashed in the drawer with the 3 other managers' plates. I know, Christina. No one's blaming you. The guy said it himself, everyone gets a little stressed out at this time of year, meaning him, not you. I told him exactly what you did, that we had 10s and 5s, but not a 15. He made his little comment about 15 being an increment of both 5 and 10 and wouldn't listen when I tried to tell him it would need to be split between 2 cards. He just wanted to complain to you and me about something neither of us have control over. Next time, I'll give him corporate's number, and he can complain to whoever in New York is responsible for deciding what increments our gift cards come in. It happened more than 2 hours ago. It's over now, and your shift's over. Go home and relax. Only 2 more days until people quit looking for gifts for people they don't really like in the first place and don't know what to buy for them, and then we can go back to our regular 50 customers a day, not counting the ones who come in just to order coffee and use us as a free library, of course. Are you kidding? Those are the ones who keep us in business. See you tomorrow, Christina. Christina picked up her purse and walked out of the office. She could already feel the cool air blowing in from the back exit. She always had thought she was lucky working at one of the mall's major stores, the ones furnished with back doors, instead of a kiosk or one of the smaller boutique shops. Easy in, easy out. There was always something about the employees who had to walk through the actual mall go-get to earn from their stores. They seemed almost like second-class citizens, though in reality, Christina knew they were no different than her. Everyone was just trying to make ends meet. She pushed on the long metal safety bar, and the door creaked open. The wind hit her hard, the chill making her glad her car was only a few feet away. Her eyes teared from the Arctic blast. Hello, Christina. Fancy meeting you here. She wanted to run, but she froze, if only for a moment. Her body was paralyzed from the waist down, but her vocal cords weren't. Get away. She heard the industrial back door echo shut. Too late to turn back. She reached for her keys and made 2 leaping steps toward the white Honda Accord, the car's lights now flashing and horn blaring. She felt fingers tighten around her upper right arm as she jerked to a stop with a primal scream. It's okay, sweetie. I'm here to help you. Her tears were no longer from the wind. Get off me, you fucking asshole. Please get off of me. Shush, let's just go back inside. Christina tried to pull away, but his grip, now with 2 hands, was too strong. Don't try to fight it, Christina. I'm taking control now. Her body went rigid, then limp, but only for a moment. When she appeared to have regained her strength, they began walking. She was still crying. What are you making me do? I don't want to go with you. It's okay, Christina, really it is. You work in a bookstore, so none of this should come as a surprise to you. None of what? Surely you've heard of Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling has done more to advance the popularity of our kind than anyone since Sir Thomas Malory told the story of Merlin. I'm sure you don't believe me, but then, you're walking with me. Against your will, I assume. And being quite calm about it. So there must be some truth to the rumor, no? What are you going to make me do? What do you think I'm going to make you do? Christina remained silent. It's okay. I know what you think I'm going to make you do. But you're wrong. I don't use my powers that way. You may think I'm an asshole, in fact, you had no problem telling me that in the store, did you? But I'm really not a bad guy. Certainly not a rapist. I even gave you a little present by not telling your manager what you called me. You still have your job, I assume. You didn't answer my question. Bold. I like that. My dear Christina, we're going to do something fun. The skin under her eyes was still puffy and her cheeks red as she watched him, still waiting for her answer. We're going to see Santa Claus. A dark blue Christmas. Christina and her captor remained silent on the way to the big conglomerate of polyfiber snow, jerky motorized plastic reindeer and white dime store Christmas lights that marked Santa's place of residence during mall hours. Christina had long thought they should upgrade to a display with a sliding board like the one in that Christmas Story movie that aired for 24 hours each Christmas. But she wasn't thinking about that now. What happens after this, she said as they took their place at the end of the line of parents with screaming elementary schoolers who didn't really believe in Santa, but were afraid of what would happen if they admitted it, toddlers who did and infants who didn't really know what was going on. After this you go home. I told you, I'm not a bad man. You stole 15 minutes of my life at the store, arguing over those silly gift cards, so now I'm borrowing 15 minutes of yours. And getting a little entertainment in the process. Making me see Santa is entertaining for you. I just want to see the look on Santa's face when we get to the front of the line and he realizes instead of putting up with yet another screaming, squirming brat, he gets to sit a beautiful woman on his lap and talk to her for 2 minutes about her fondest Christmas wishes. You are very beautiful, you know. Christina's cheeks once again turned red. I don't want you calling me beautiful. Maybe not, but I've said it, and I can't unsay it. So I guess it's out there. The camera flashed twice for each child posing with Santa, some more willingly than others, with an occasional sibling duo thrown in for good measure. The line moved faster than Christina would have thought. Thomas had said 15 minutes, and barring any major delay, gum in Santa's beard, a camera malfunction, a credit card being declined and a worried mother having to figure out some other way to pay the $29.95 for an 8x10 of her kid and a stranger dressed in a red suit, it seemed like his estimation would be fairly accurate. I want you to do something for me, Christina, Thomas whispered. I want you to think about the last time you wet your pants. Remember it in detail. Think about it, every single thing. Christina's mind went blank for a moment, and then she remembered waking up several days after her 21st birthday. She'd had to work on the night of her actual birthday, so she and some friends went out that Saturday. It wasn't like she had never had a drink before, but now that it was legal, well, it was just more fun. She hadn't remembered returning to her bedroom that night, but assumed her roommate had something to do with getting her there. She rolled over to go back to sleep and hopefully quell the pounding in her head when she realized something wasn't right. The bed was cold, almost as if someone had spilled something on it and left it there for the air conditioning to chill. A moment later, she also determined that she was still wearing her clothes from the night before, and someone had spilled something on them, too. Not really all of her clothes. Just her pants, and her underwear. And then it hit her, she had wet her bed. Slowly she got up and started to take them off. Christina? Christina? What are you doing? Christina blinked as the memory faded. But there was something still familiar about the whole thing. There was a feeling. The family in line behind Thomas and Christina backed away as the dark patch on Christina's jeans grew larger and made its way down her left leg. The residual liquid pooled around her shoes. One of Santa's elves picked up her walkie-talkie from the little shelf by the cash register. Attention cleanup, we have a code 20 at Santa's booth, code 20 at Santa. Christina had called in several code 20s at her own store, radio slang for, a child has wet his or her pants, and we need someone to clean it up. I'm so sorry. I don't know what. Christina. Thomas yelled loudly enough so even those at the back of the line could hear. Why didn't you just tell me you had to go tinkle? Now someone has to come here and clean this up. You've been a bad girl, Christina. And Santa saw the whole thing. Indeed, Santa's lips were tight, as if trying not to smile beneath his fake beard, and his bowl full of jelly was shaking. Come on, and let's get you cleaned up. Honestly, at your age. Thomas led Christina by the hand. She tried not to look at anyone else as they exited the line.